Hello and welcome to the NextPowerUp review of SOMA. This is part 7 and also is going to be the summary which I'll use for the review, which will be posted up on Thursday the 1st of October. This may be your first time watching it. For those of you that are here straight from the review link on the main NextPowerUp review site page, if you go ahead and click the link, I will show up there, I think. Oh no, down here, sorry, yeah, down here. You can see part 1. Where I'll be starting at the start of the game and going through varying stages of the game throughout our review. So you can see sort of where I've gotten all of my ideas and where I've made statements that may be represented in the review. I'll go ahead and click continue here. The loading screens are so long I can pretty much just describe what I need to describe through here. Obviously this will be a shorter video, probably only about 15 minutes in length, in sort of a summary of the game to sort of go along with the review. This may be difficult because I've just reached a part of the game which is, again, you know, the explorative puzzle part to the scary part, and you know, the game is split into sections, and I'm currently at a part which is probably going to terrify me, so I'll do my best to keep on track of the summary. So obviously you can check the link down below for the full review and also for the performance analysis, which will be up at 12:30 on the 1st of October, British Standard Time, and of course we're in daylight savings, so hour is 1 hour ahead, so instead of normal 00 hours it'll be +1. So to start with the summary, overall I have to say that I probably won't ever play another horror game again by Frictional, but not because it's a bad game. Basically the reason I probably won't ever play a Frictional game again is because it's too damn good. In terms of horror, it's got the perfect balance between puzzles and storyline, and then, you know, bits of horror elements. Granted, it's not my personal touch, but I think that the games that Frictional make themselves are reaching to a certain market of people who like horror games. I know plenty of people over on the NextPowerUp forums who love Frictional games. They love Amnesia, they love Soma. They like those kind of games, not just for the jump scares, but just because the games have been made with such a good quality for an indie title. The graphics are pretty good, I have to say. In all honesty, the graphics are relatively great. Obviously, this is yeah. The textures are loading here. The graphics are reasonable, and you have to expect that the graphics are going to be not amazing necessarily, because it is an indie game after all. But oh man, this is going to be so hard to do a summary while I'm terrified. This is ridiculous. Alright, so there's a dead guy there. So the graphics are relatively good by indie standards. Oh shit. Okay, this is going to be really fucking hard. Really fucking hard. Okay, so in summary, the graphics are relatively decent, but they are not quite AAA in style. The reason I say that is particularly in the train scene. You see the oh god, there's going to be a guy that appears there. Oh, this is going to be harder than I thought. Is that you see a couple of people on the train at the start of the game, which you probably missed in case you decided not to get spoiled too much. And those graphics were good, but they weren't quite AAA. So I think. Ooh. I think that they're good enough. They're certainly good enough for a AAA title, and I don't have any complaints about them per se. The same with the video settings.
Everything is so basic, so limited. I hope it's not the
This may be
obstacle
important.
part. Okay, we need to find you a power suit. You know, so we can go into the abyss without ending up like a recycled can of soda.
You think we'll find one that fits me? I mean, I'm kind of
That's been bothering me too. You know how you were transferred from Vancouver?
Toronto.
From then to now.
How could I forget?
Okay, so we do it again.
So this is what I like about the game, is the fact that
No, you
you
idiot.
go through sections of explorative puzzles with a bit of terror, and it's not necessarily jump scare terror, but it's relatively good, well built. I mean, they've put effort in crafting your fear, as opposed to just going, oh, let's script some events.
Simon, please. You don't have to switch this instant. Just play along for now. If we find something else, then great. If not,
I'm not promising anything.
Thank you, Simon. Have a look around the room. This is where they would keep the power suits, if there are any left.
There's one in there. I'd say that my main gripes are basically the conversations between the robots and the fact that they are just randomly sort of cut off halfway between any information. Oh, there's going to be a gun in there. Yep.
Oh, God. Nice. I found one of the power suits. There's a dead woman inside. At least I think it's a woman. Just like the body we found in the annex. She's missing her head.
Gross. This could work in our favor, though. Look for a terminal nearby, see if you can boot it up.
Nice. But no, I think the storyline is relatively good. I mean, it's not too complicated, and I think you'd be surprised at how simple it is, because in the first 15 minutes of the game you see something which changes the way you view everything that happens in the game afterwards, and without seeing that you probably won't understand why I think it's so simple. But as you go through the game, you'll eventually get through the storyline, and I think the storyline is actually relatively good. I was genuinely quite worried about constantly coming back to the game, mainly because I couldn't stand the horror parts. But then I found myself coming back to the game because of the storyline and because of the stuff with Catherine.
Not exactly grade A material.
Don't write it off just yet. Remember what we found out at Beta? The suit you are wearing is basically just a Cortex chip working a few pints of structure gel, powered by the on-suit battery pack.
And a dead colleague, Imogen Reed.
Exactly. If you think about it, we're actually incredibly lucky. We found a suit with an already dead body inside.
Oh, great.
Guess you're right. What about the WoW? What makes you think it'll play along?
It's not magic, it's algorithms. A set pattern. The WoW won't be able to deny us, even if it was capable of wanting to.
I'm still not crazy about this plan. It feels wrong.
Please, Simon, I can't give up on the Ark. I need this to work.
So we need a Cortex chip, structure gel, and a battery pack. That's one hell of a shopping list.
Thanks. I'll just hang around here if that's okay.
I'll be back.
Great. So I get to look around for random shit in scary places. Sweet. Anyway, back to the old summary. So overall, despite my very minor gripes with the conversation aspects of the game, involving just sort of them being cut off halfway through, which is a little bit annoying, and possibly down to the fact that none of these are gonna be unlockable, are they? Yeah. And I suppose the other thing is that not entirely sure where I should be going. Anyway, gripes. And my other stuff is probably down to the handling of the way that the game punishes you for basically failing. And it sort of knocks you out and then just makes you limp, which makes running away from monsters relatively difficult. But then if you really fuck up, then you just get respawned back to the previous checkpoint. So it's not necessarily all bad. And it kind of doesn't feel like it's necessarily setting you back too much. And I know a few other reviewers have sort of said this is not necessarily the best way of dealing with punishing players that, you know, mess up. But I think at the same time it would be very difficult for frictional games to figure out a way to make death worthwhile in this game without causing more frustration to the player. because of, just saying, ah, you have to go back to the previous checkpoint or a previous save that's really, really far down the line. I don't think that would make any sense. I think what they've done for now is annoying, but at the same time, there's really no other choice that they would have had. So, I can kind of understand that. Other than that, the game has been relatively well made. Optimization has been absolutely fantastic. There were a couple of areas where the game would tank in FPS a couple of times, which happened a number of occasions, but it was so rare that I think it's probably something that will eventually be fixed in a patch or something like that. And there was 1 or 2 bugs which you may have noticed in previous videos, when, for example, I was getting chased by a big, scary, crazy-ass monster that was trying to murder me, and then hitting the health button, which was, ooh, is this a useful piece of... Nope. So those were minor. They certainly were prevalent, but I don't think they were anything that would necessarily ruin the game in its entirety. Other than that, there's really not much else to say. The game is pretty good. I mean, I have to say, I am not a fan of horror games in the slightest. Like, I just can't deal with them. I would never play a horror game out of choice. But honestly, Soma has shocked me a little bit in just how decent it actually is. Like, I don't think I would necessarily play any of these out of choice again. But, I've been relatively impressed with what I've seen so far. It's been very well made, and I can certainly appreciate that it's actually been quite an authentically made horror game in general. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. Let's see what we can do here. This is going to scare the shit out of me, I know it. I'm not going to be able to concentrate. So overall, I have relatively positive feelings about the whole thing. Ooh, an exciting little minigame. Now, you see, this is one of the other things about the game which I found slightly odd, is that some of these minigames don't really make a whole lot of sense when you look at them. I don't know what this means. Literally, I have no idea what I'm doing. So this is probably the WoW going crazy and forcing me to do some weird shit. I literally have no idea what I'm supposed to do. I get the impression I've got to link all of these together. So this is the part where, yeah, minigames are a little bit awkward, to be perfectly honest. Oh, okay. I think I got it. Hey! Oh, what? Oh, there we go. Grand success. Now a big scary thing's going to appear in front of me. Alright, okay. So, you can see why the puzzles are a little bit frustrating. There are parts where I found myself a little bit irritated. Down to the fact that the puzzles have been a bit incredibly frustrating, to say the least. And when you have that aspect of dying and sort of limping along, it gets incredibly frustrating. But those are minor things. I think overall, the fact that a horror game has successfully made me enjoy myself. That guy has no head and he's in the shower. I think the fact that a horror game has successfully made me enjoy it, despite the fact that I would never ever choose to play it, is pretty impressive. I just heard someone groan. So, overall, I think those that are going to play SOMA were already going to play SOMA, and those that don't like horror games will probably never play it regardless of how good I say the game is. But in my opinion, it has done, you know, surprisingly well to impress me to this degree. Is there a rat in here somewhere? Okay. What is happening here? This is extremely interesting, I have to say. Let's dispense some gel, see what happens. Shoot some gel into the rat. It's gonna go fucking crazy, isn't it? Yep. So, it doesn't matter how many times or how long I play this game for, it just still absolutely mystifies me, and it's still extremely interesting. I mean, let's stare at this rat. What the fuck is this?
Something like it.
Let's go all the way back to the other one. So, overall, I'm pretty impressed with SOMA. I have to say, I would never play a frictional game. But, you know, it's good. I mean, I would strongly recommend people at least attempt to play it. It's not necessarily going to be very good for you horror people. I mean, especially me. What the fuck is going on here? This is messed up. I literally have no idea what's happening. Oh! Oh! Click. Fucking click. Do I need to put something on there? Yes. Aha! Gotcha. Alright, you see? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I won't bore you with any of this random crap that I'm doing currently, but hopefully you've gotten enough of a summary and I've explained myself relatively well. I've probably got too sidetracked playing this game too much, so this has become less of a summary and more of me going, oh, that's interesting. So, yeah, probably check out the review in the link below, and hopefully I'll have explained myself a little bit better in that one. So yeah, check out the link in the section below, and of course, check out the what do I do with this? And check out the performance analysis. And as always, we'll be doing our Saturday weekly episode as usual. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoy that, and I'll start reviewing a certain other game as of tomorrow, so I'll be uploading regular daily clips of that. So join us tomorrow for a part 1 of our next review series, which I'll fully announce on Saturday, but you'll get the gist as of tomorrow anyway. And I'm going to figure out what the hell I need to do with this weird robot jizz.